lastly, any advice that you have for upcoming or people actually are managing artists? Is there any advice that you will give them in terms of how they should go about their business with their artists?
Advice I'd give a manager, an up-and-coming manager, is it's very difficult to succeed in the world of management today, because deals, unfortunately, are a lot smaller, and when you're trying to pay your bills on 20% of a reduced advance, it's very difficult. So I would suggest that young managers today look to partner up with people, partner up to reduce their overheads, to allow them to do what they need to do, which is manage the artist, and let a partner take care of a lot of the business side of things and the strain and certainly the financial concern that a young manager would have. And that's something at TFA that I'm very, very passionate about, is looking for new young artists to give them a home, some central heating, a few quid, and get them managing their artists and do what a young manager, potentially good young manager, should be doing, without the fear of paying their rent, their phone bills and staff. So I'm looking to facilitate young managers, and I believe that unfortunately that is the only way that a young manager can manage more than one artist and have more than one, pop at the cherry, pop at it. And I know that sounds coarse, more than one pop, but we are in a world, if we're going to be real as a manager, not just talk bollocks about, oh yeah, we love all our acts. We're in a commercial business. Yes, we like our acts, but ultimately they're not all going to happen. Let's be totally honest about it. They're not all going to happen. And if you think they are, wake up. Right? So you need more than one act. But if you're a young, bright manager, you'll get it. But you can't sign more than one act, because it's unfortunately it's a vicious circle. You have one act, and if it does well, you're so busy on your mobile phone running around with that act that you haven't got time to look at another act. By the time you have, your overhead cost is catching up on you. If you do have another act, they're always going to say, well, you're on the road with this act. Unfortunately, the advances aren't big enough today as they were maybe when I started, where I could do great deals for artists, big advances on records, big advances on publishing, which allowed me to pay for an office, maybe one person answering the phone, and I had a little infrastructure to start with. Unfortunately, if you do a deal today and you take 100 grand for your artist on records and publishing, that's actually, a very, very sensible deal, and you've done well. In fact, that's respectable. So out of that, you've made 20 grand commission, which, by the way, doesn't get paid in one go. It gets paid over a period of 18 months. But nevertheless, you've made 20 grand. Once you've paid tax, you're down to 15 grand. Let's say you've got your mobile phone and, your travel, that's 5 grand. So you're now down to £10,000. Well, £10,000 equates to £200 a week. Okay, so now you're stereotypifying that manager has to either live at home or live in a squat, because I don't know where else you can live and eat for £200 a week, right? So you're now reducing the actual playing field for a manager to survive in. Therefore, I'm very, very passionate about saying, you know what, if you're good, and I'm looking for good managers, we'll house you. We'll take that whole element of it away from you, the whole stress of having to pay for your phone and also help you at the top end with contacts, etc., etc. So my advice to young managers is, look at businesses like ourselves that are looking to facilitate and encourage and help young managers, rather than run around with a mobile phone and be the artist's best friend. Because, the truth is, you need to have more than one iron in the fire, and if you're going to be successful. And more importantly, make sure, as a further bit of advice to young managers, that you have a contract. Because it's really simple. If you want loyalty, buy a dog. Right? And that's not to say that all artists are disloyal, but if you're investing your own time and your own money and your own resources into something, and you are basing it on the success of that artist, take that advice and have a contract, just in case, in that very, very small chance that the artist might decide to run off when they're successful. Make sure you've got a contract.